Adam Hackett made it very plain. It was his way or the highway. I got kicked out several times, but the last time was enough to change my mind. I don't even recall why Adam had put me out, but I'm sure it had to do with me not following one of his many rules. I'd gone back to the Fifth Ward. I was happy to be home, back in a world where I was in control. I had my crew again. I had time for girls, time to hang out. It was just like old times, as if nothing had changed. But one thing had changed. My crew had been robbing the local McDonald's. They hit other restaurants just outside the neighborhood 6 or 7 times too. After every score, they'd come to school the next day with big bankrolls of cash. At first, I wanted no parts of it. I just knew they were going to get caught. But I kept seeing the new cash, the new shoes, the jewelry, and eventually gave in. I knew it was a huge risk, so I decided I would be the driver. I figured I could make the same amount of cash without having to go in the store or point a pistol. When I picked them up, they were wearing long trench coats to hide their weapons. They'd hit this McDonald's twice before already, so they thought they knew the weak spots. After I dropped them off, I noticed a police car waiting across the street under the underpass. I guess the police figured that if my friends were stupid enough to rob the same McDonald's twice, they'd be stupid enough to hit it 3 times. The police were right. I blew the horn, signaling for my friends to come back. They got back into the car without going inside the McDonald's, but that was close enough for me. My short-lived career as a getaway driver was over. I accepted it as a warning. I dropped my homies off and we went our separate ways. I drove home, thinking about how close I'd come to getting arrested. I saw it as a sign from God. That wasn't the life I wanted for myself. Being incarcerated wouldn't get my mother her house or me my land, and it sure wouldn't break the cycle of poverty that had such a firm hold on my family. I started thinking about going back to my father's house. Maybe his rules, however strict, were there to make me better. That night marked the first significant time in my life when I instinctively acted on a warning sign that kept me from tragedy. The second time, years later, also involved a McDonald's, but we'll get to that later. The next morning, I awoke to the news. After I dropped my friends off, they decided to hit a different McDonald's. I didn't know Marvin very well, but apparently he was the weak link. They were all in jail for armed robbery, charged as adults, and eventually served 8 to 10 years in prison. Most of them never got the opportunity to graduate high school. So, I went back to my father's house. But this time, Pat, my stepmother, convinced him to let me get a job. For the next few months, when I wasn't in school, I was bagging groceries at Food City grocery store. But it wasn't long before trouble found me. Occasionally, there'd be a customer who couldn't pay for their groceries. They'd already done all their shopping and realized at the cash register that they'd forgotten their money or checkbook. When that happened, we'd set the groceries to the side and give them a chance to come back. If they didn't return, we'd restock the groceries on the shelves. It was the 4th of July holiday weekend, and the store was packed with people preparing for their barbecues. I had a Mexican friend who bagged groceries in the next aisle. He and I weren't particularly close. We'd never hung out outside of work, but we were cool enough to pass the time, keeping each other entertained. On this particular day, he'd bagged an entire cart full of groceries, and the family had to go home and get their money. But this cart, full of meat and other premium goods, was just sitting there. Finally, my Mexican friend came to me and said, "Let me put this in your car, and we'll split the groceries when we get off." This was 1983, and I was driving a 1950 Chevy. I liked my old car. I'd chosen it on purpose. I liked that it was different from what everyone else was driving. It stood out, and I stood out in it. It also had a large trunk. After thinking about it for a few minutes, I figured, why not? What's the worst that could happen? I gave him the keys, and he took the abandoned cart out to my car and put all the groceries into my trunk, and we both went back to work. A while later, the family returned for their food. I said nothing. But it only took a few minutes for the Mexican guy to tell them that I'd taken the groceries. The police were called. When the officer asked for the keys to my car, I knew it was a wrap. It didn't matter that I wasn't the one who came up with the idea or who put the food in my car. It was in my car, and my Mexican friend said I did it, so I was promptly fired, arrested, and taken to the police station. I spent the entire ride in the back of the police car thinking about my father. I knew it was over. He'd taken me back after my short-lived return to the Fifth War, and truthfully, I didn't want to go back there again. I didn't want to disappoint him either. I was afraid he'd give up on me. So I called my stepmother Pat instead. Pat had been advocating for me since the first day she met me, when I was only 2 years old. She said she loved me instantly, and she'd spent my entire life showing me how much at every chance she got. She'd lobbied on my behalf so I could get a paying job instead of working for free at my father's mechanic shop. And here I was in the police station, accused of stealing a cart of groceries from the job she'd helped me get. I was ashamed and scared of what would happen when I got home. When Pat arrived at the police station to get me out, she told me, "Look, I'll make a deal with you. If you give me your word that you will never steal again, I won't tell your daddy about what happened here today." I felt like an angel had come down from above, and I'd been given another chance. I gave her my word, and I meant it. For years to come, I'd have the opportunity to take things that didn't belong to me. But I'd remember that I'd given my word to Pat, who never wanted to do anything but be on my side. Giving her my word made me do the right thing. I wanted to do right by Pat, and I wanted to do right by myself, because I couldn't go to jail. My life was about to change.